speak my truth, tell you where I came from. I spent a lot of years, man, a lot of years fucked up, like on some very self-destructive, bad habit living. I remember being, I don't know, 20, 21, and almost glorifying the fact that I like to do drugs, that I was known to be a drug guy. He was into drugs. It's fucking crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Because that road only leads to self-destruction. We know this. We've seen it. There's plenty of people that I went to school with. There's plenty of people that I grew up with. There's plenty of people that I know to this day that are on drugs or dealing with some form of addiction. And now I can see in their lives the havoc that has been plaguing their lives due to these addictions, due to these bad habits. Discipline. Raising your baseline level of discipline is going to be the thing that determines whether you are a victim or a victor of your bad habits. I had such bad habits. I would eat whatever I wanted. I woke up whenever I wanted to. I worked out, never. I only wanted to skateboard and be outside skateboarding. That's it. If you could, I consider that working out. And I guess to some degree it is exercise, but I did whatever the fuck I wanted to do all the fucking time. It didn't matter. I'm a stubborn, hard-headed type of individual anyway. So if I didn't want to do something, fuck, who's going to tell me to do it? This is my life. I'm going to do what I want to do. And that level of stubbornness and that level of self-absorption and defiance led me into being riddled with bad habits, riddled with addictions, and things of this nature. So, discipline. At a certain point, your life gets to a place where you have to either decide that you're going to make a change or succumb. And me succumbing to the things that I was dealing with, high levels of anxiety, high levels of depression, paranoia, all of these things, these were going to lead me to a place of self-harm or even suicide. I knew it. I felt it every day. I would think, like, I would rather not be here. So I had to come to a fork in the road, and one way was continuing down the path that I was on, and the other way was changing my life, and not hoping and wishing that my life would change, but making active decisions and using intention to reshape and reform my life. And not only my life, but first and foremost my mind and how I thought and how I approached situations. I had to start being hard on myself, which is something I never was. I always was just like, oh, and whenever I want to do it, however I want it to go. You know, I never put any pressure on myself. And that's the thing out here that's just like, it's the thing that I see so often is that nobody wants to be under any kind of pressure. And I get it. You know, it doesn't feel good to be under pressure. But that pressure is what creates a better and more evolved individual. That's just what it is. So I never wanted that pressure on myself. I was always so easy and so soft on myself. It's okay. You know, but I was really just allowing myself to have bad habits and allowing myself to remain in that place of dysfunction and just depression, anxiety, like I said, all of these negative, very negative headspaces and emotions. So I had to say, okay, if being easy on myself, and here's something too, you know, at this point in my life, you know, a lot of people see me and they see how I live my life, and they see that I'm like every day, like, you're up every day that early, 7 days a week. That's crazy. And I think, and they're like, you gotta be like, at some point, don't you gotta take it easy? Don't you gotta be easy on yourself at some point? I'm like, motherfucker, I've been easy on myself my entire life. My entire life has been easy. I've only done what I wanted to do my entire life. So maybe at this point in my life now, it's time to try something different and see what the results may be. You get what I'm saying? So maybe structure your mind to think about it like this. I've only taken it easy on myself. Very rarely. That's the rarity, was me being hard on myself. If I ever was. You know what I'm saying? So I had to decide, okay, well, this is the lifestyle that I'm going to live. And I already knew in my mind the kind of person I've always wanted to be. I've always respected a person who was disciplined. I always respected a person who was strong, a person who could be a fucking savage if he needed to, or the person but was also had full control of his emotions and was working towards having full control of his emotions and was able to be a kind and gentle person and be good with children and be soft when needed to be, but also just like this wide range of just everything that encompasses a good person, a man that was just devoted and committed and just righteous and living an upful life. This is the person that I always respected, even in those days where I was living completely contrary to that. So I had to make that decision. And I knew in making that decision that it was going to be hard and that it was going to be difficult and that I was going to need a certain level of self-discipline in order to pull it off. And at that point, I had zero self-discipline. I guess the only discipline I had was being able to go and skateboard regularly or fucking smoking cigarettes regularly or doing all the shit that was fucking me over regularly. That was my thing. Those were my disciplines. So I had to begin to restructure my mind, and I took a lot of L's trying to get there. I had to fail many, many times, but I've said this on some of my videos that I post. Like, I got to a certain point where I said, I'm not fucking stopping. I don't care, because you start to gain some of the effects of living better. You start to feel, every fucking body feels this. You cannot tell me there's one person on this earth who didn't start waking up earlier, started working out, started eating better, that was like, fuck, this feels great. That decided, there's not one person who thought that was a bad thing or didn't feel better after doing so. So that was the catalyst. It was that. I was like, man, I've never felt this good in my life. Ever. I've never felt this good. So I decided, well, I'm committed to this life. I'm committed to trying to live better, because this is what I've always wanted anyway. And it only grew from there, to a place where now, my lifestyle may seem absurd to some people, and good. I'm glad it does, because that's what I want. But once I made that decision, I had to take many, many L's. I took those L's and I took them straight to the face, to the chest, to the liver, figuratively and literally in some cases, for my growth, because I knew that I had to grow. There was no other option for me, because the other life that I saw was just death, disparity, fucking misery. Who wants to be a part of that? I don't. I no longer. But I lived it for so long because I thought that was all there was. So I had to grow, and I like I said, I took many L's, and eventually I got to a certain place where I raised my baseline level of discipline. So it started off for me with exercise. I started running 1 mile a day. Every day I ran 1 mile. I was still smoking cigarettes at this time, bro, and weed probably. Can't even remember for real. But I know I was smoking cigarettes for sure. And trying to run 1 mile every single day. And I did it because I told myself, this is what I'm going to do. And I ran 1 mile. And that's all I could do. I'd be gassed the fuck out. Couldn't do anything else. And it only snowballed after, And then running 1 mile turned into running 1 mile and doing 15 burpees right afterwards. And then that turned into doing push-ups every day. And that turned into doing pull-ups. And I remember when I first started trying to do pull-ups, my core would be so fucking sore because it would hurt so bad because I just had no strength in my core or in my upper body in general. I was pretty weak, you know? And man, what a crazy life it's been this far. Like just seeing, like, I don't know. To me, it's radical. The change is so drastic from where I was to where I am now that it's almost unrecognizable to some people. I've had people that I went to school with say like, oh, you're not even the same person. Fucking good. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like good. Why would I want to be? I only want to evolve. I only want to grow. I only want to get better. There's nothing else for me in this life but to be better for me first. Every day striving to be the best me, and then giving everything that I've learned, everything, every tool, every gem that I've gained in my process, in my struggle, and giving it to other people. Because I see so many people suffer, and all I want is to help. All I want to do is to help people who were once in a place that I was in. Because I know exactly what the fuck it feels like. And I would never want anyone to feel that. I would never want anyone to feel like they want to take their own life because they're just dealing in misery every single day. Why the fuck? What? And I would be a selfish individual if I learned all of these things and grew, and it was apparent and evident by looking at me that I'm a different person, and then kept it all to myself and never shared anything. What a selfish person I would be. Can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it and live in good conscience. I can't. I would feel terrible about myself, and I would feel like, what the fuck? And and truthfully, it would send me back into a place of depression, because I would just feel like I was doing a disservice to myself and everyone around me. There's people that I love, that I claim that I love, you know. A lot of us claim that we love people, and we do. Our actions speak contrary to it, but there's a lot of people that I love, and these people need an example. They need somebody in their lives that's gonna show them like it's possible, man. It's possible. Like all that shit you're fucking dealing with, all the things that you think are so hard for you, all the issues, all of the thises and the that's and the anxieties and the depressions and you can do it. You can, and so I have to wake up every day and prove that I'm not stopping and that I'm committed to being a leader, committed to being an example. What the fuck, man? You know what I'm saying? This has become my life purpose. It only makes sense. I couldn't think of anything better. I can't think of any career. I can't think of any job that would be more fulfilling to me than taking everything that I've learned in my process and giving it to the world. I can't think of anything that would be more fulfilling for me. Nothing. So through my own healing, I've gained clarity on my purpose. Wow. It's crazy, huh? It's crazy. I'm here. I'm going to be here, and I have to be here. At this point, I have to be here. This is the thing that sets my world on fire, that makes my heart truly full. I have to. But like I said before, I said it on Instagram, I got to go all the way, because every time that I don't go all the way, I lose this clarity. I lose this feeling of being on purpose. I lose it, you know, and I start to feel as if like my lifestyle and the things that I'm doing don't even make sense to me sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing this? And it's because I'm not giving everything I can. Because when I do give, when I give everything I can to my workouts, to my process, to everything, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember now. I remember why I'm doing this. But when I go halfway, I'm just feeling like, you know, like my energy's off. Everything's fucked up. So I have to go all the way. I have to show up fully for myself and everyone around me. That's the way it goes. Discipline, self-discipline. You have to raise your baseline level of discipline. You got to start waking up earlier. You got to start eating better. You got to start saying no to certain foods. You got to start saying no to certain things in your life, the alcohol, the drugs, the cigarettes, all of this. You got to start saying no, because you know better than anyone else what is and isn't serving you, and what you do and don't want to let go of. And most people want, I don't know not one motherfucking person who smokes cigarettes who says, I want to quit. I'm trying to quit. I don't know one person that smokes that says they don't want to quit. I know. I understand. But it's fucking crazy. It's insane. Listen, you can do it if you truly want it more than you want air and oxygen. If you want to truly feel the best you've ever felt, if you truly want to live a life that is where you're unshackled from all of the bad fucking vices that have riddled you your whole life, you can do it. Love and appreciate y'all always. Peace.